What's up, YouTube? Now, back with another video. Now, I want to get on this solar storms that a lot of people not paying attention. Now, I remember when they had the eclipse. You guys can go back when they had that eclipse and that devil comet. Now, there was going to be NASA, CERN to be a part of that, of that eclipse event. Now, there's, been a high volume of seismic activity. We've seen protons, when these CMEs hit the sunspot, we are getting high volumes. And you're seeing protons, seeing the low frequencies and high frequencies, seeing the 3-day, weather events. Saying all this, with our foster field continue to burn and the human activities are reaching a global climate change. And what this tells me, that when we look at the ocean continents and the sea levels, temperatures, everything is boiling. Which I have to say to you guys, we don't have long, because the earth is erupting into a high complexity. And at some point, when we look at Los Angeles fault lines and San Francisco fault lines, New Madrid fault lines, when we look at the Catastrophic subduction zone, you guys, I always say, when we look at our tectonic plates, the Pacific, coast is due for a violent, catastrophic event. Now, what scientists and scholars already predicted about the big earthquake that can happen in Los Angeles by the end of this year, sometime next year. What we see is a buildup. And when we get buildups of earthquakes, it just continue to grow into the larger quakes. Now, please take this with a grain of salt, because our earth is reaching a high perplexity. And when Jesus says in Luke 21, 25, 26, that the seas and ocean will rise into a perplexity, seeing that, saying this, you guys, that the people that you think that have control of the weather anomalies, God is in control. Once you seen that the earth had been out of these people's reach, you see that they can no longer subdue it. They can't no longer thwart his plan. You know, everything we see is going to start on the lower end, lower parts of that south bracket, that south legion. It starts there because that's the lower end of Egypt. So when you look at the remaining 2024 hurricane season, now this hurricane that everyone's talking about is hitting landfall at a Cat 5. Now I remember I was watching a video. In that video, they would show how we will reach a hurricane to our highest category. And it's supposed to, slam into Florida, Carolina, Alabama, Now, my question, could it be the storm that they have been talking about? And I see there's more favorable conditions. The Gulf, is where these storms is developing. So, the biggest thing for the remaining hurricane season, we have to see that whether these waves take a certain path, and I believe they're going to take this path into the Gulf of Mexico as we all see it. People are noticing a lot of strange anomalies. People started noticing that the worst is still to come. People are already barely recovering from the last hurricanes. After that solar eclipse, what we had seen, a change of our world, human behavior has went up, to the highest degree that you've never seen. I say this to say this, but the worst yet to come. There's something catastrophic. So I say this to say this, warn people that the end is just coming. It's near. And the sad thing I see, They want to manipulate. They want to control the weather nominee. So when I look at things, brothers and sisters, I look at these things that these things don't happen just to be happening. When we see these waves that comes off the Africa coast, you have to understand what your people went through and what God would do in a time that now you are witnessing. The destruction of America.